ليش نشكيلك يما وقالوا لي ليلى صغير وفي قلبي غمة نحب نطير ونطير الفوق يحبوا يقصوا لي جناحي قولي ذكراني مخنوق ومنك طالب سماحي
هما كلهم وحدة. Back at it again. Got another video for you today. I think a lot of you guys are going to understand this and already probably know this, but a lot of people have different ideas of dreams. And a lot of people think that dreams show your future, dreams show you a path, etc., right? And I'm here to explain something to you guys. Again, a lot of you guys probably already know this. I'm just trying to weed out all of the misinformation and to rationalize my point. Dreams are essentially what's going on in your mind, in your consciousness or subconscious right now, meaning like relatively what's going on with your brain now. And those pictures and those hallucinations and those scenes, and it could be like that of a movie, it could be very vivid. There's many different ways to explain it or to experience these dreams. And so let me just explain it like this. Last night I had a dream. I had very, very little amount of sleep. I went into the truck. The guy said, yeah, it's going to take us 4 hours before another vehicle gets here. And I said, hey, just wake me up when the guy gets here. Basically, I slept for about an hour and a half. And then the guy knocked on my door and I was waking up from a dream. And this dream was exactly what was going on in my life, in terms of where my brain was, what I was focused on, and those sort of things. Now, the dream's extremely weird, but it represents exactly what's going on in your brain right now. There is no fucking, like, oh, this is the path, right? Which I've talked to you guys in the past about the pull. You guys can feel that pull, and that pull will take you places that are going to be great, but it's not the pull. In your dreams, for example, my dream, just explain to you guys my dream for some stupid reason, but this happens all the time. But in my dream, I essentially had a dog. I got a dog. It was a puppy. It was a puppy boxer, and I was thinking about it over the last 3-4 weeks to get a boxer puppy. Not to take with me in the truck, but I'm just saying in my future I've been thinking about, getting a puppy, and, that'll be a great thing for me to have in terms of relationship before I get into a family, etc. I would love to have a puppy. So in my dream I get a puppy, and at some point in the dream, like, everything's great. I'm playing with the puppy for the first day or two in my dream, and all of a sudden, for some reason, I was living in an area where there was crocodiles or alligators or something, but it was weird. It was like a mutant crocodile or alligator. It was a docile version. It was just so stupid and slow, but it's still deadly. And for some reason in my dream, there was tons of them. So I was walking my dog in between these crocodiles, and for some reason, and they're extremely slow. They're like, open the mouth, like really slow, like you can dodge the fuck out of them, like that type of slow. Now, what that represented for me was that I really wanted a dog, but I wanted to care for a dog, so I cared for its well-being. But also in my brain, I watched a documentary last night, like one of those YouTube documentaries of very, very fascinating rare sharks, like a top 10 or 12 list or some stupid shit. I was just listening to it in the background, but the first 3 sharks were extremely slow. Opens their mouth, like really, like 1 point whatever miles an hour or less than a mile per hour swimming speed in the ocean. Like, it's extremely a slow animal, and it's essentially no threat. For some reason, that played in my mind for the alligators that I was walking in and out of. and there's tons of them. There's tons of alligators, and it was weird because it wasn't a real alligator like you would look at it, but in my head it was just some slow, docile thing. So just to give you an example, that played from the shark thing from last night, and those two had to combine in my mind because I was thinking about it in my dream, essentially, subconsciously. So I take the dog, and I'm trying to hang out with the dog and stuff, and for some reason, I can't remember now, for some reason all of a sudden the dog disappeared. So I thought one of the alligators got it. And I was like, oh fuck, and I was crying, blah blah blah, and I thought the alligator got him. So I went back to the person I got the puppy from, and I got another puppy. So then I'm starting to play with a new puppy, blah blah blah, and for some reason my mom pops in the picture. And I'm hanging out with my mom and with the new puppy, and I'm showing my mom the new puppy. And for some reason, shortly after I'm hanging out with my mom, the old puppy comes out and recognizes me and comes over to me and gets all excited. I'm all excited to see it. My mom took that puppy from me in a similar fashion that she did as when I was a child. So when I was a child, when I was 12 years old or 12 years old, 13? It might have been 13. I worked all summer long to get a boxer puppy. And I spent, I think, $400. I saved up $400 for mowing lawns and doing things that I had to do as a teenager, like a 13-year-old kid or even 12-year-old kid. Worked all summer, saved every penny, because I wanted a puppy, specifically a boxer puppy. And when I had that puppy, my mom had this habit of taking my puppy from me whenever I wasn't looking, and just hanging out with my puppy and chilling with my puppy. And I would never know where my puppy is, and she would even fucking lock the door of her room and just play with the puppy so she had an extra whatever time with my, because I was so defensive of that puppy that I would totally be like, hey, I want my dog back. I want to chill with my dog. I just spent $400 on this dog. Yeah, it's the cutest fucking thing. Yeah, you want to fucking play with it, but it's my puppy. I got it for me, right? Sort of shit, right? But I literally worked all year long, or 3-4 months in the summer, to get that puppy, so I wanted it. But my mom would take him whenever I wasn't looking. If I went to go play a video game or whatever, and I didn't have the dog right in my attention, all of a sudden I'd look over and be like, where the fuck's my dog? And I would have to go looking for my dog, and of course it'd be my mom having it. Same way in my dream. So it's something that's already in my mind about puppies, right? Like, my mom might, if I get a puppy, be like, hey, I'm just gonna, let me play with it, and it's so cute, and whatever, right? So that played also a role in my dream. But it was extremely weird that this happened in my dream, right? And a lot of people would be like, oh, well, that's got to be what it's got to be with your future. That's like, oh, that's a telltale sign. A lot of people do that. But the truth is, it only is your brain recalling the past. And I actually was on the phone with my mom when I was telling her, maybe a week ago or two, probably 2 weeks ago, on the phone. And I said, hey, yeah, I'm probably going to be getting out of the truck in spring, and I'm probably going to get a puppy, and a boxer puppy. And then she told me, hey, do you remember when I used to take your dog? So this is something that's fresh in my mind. Same thing with that shark documentary from last night, which somehow came into these mutant-looking, weird, slow, docile alligators, crocodile types. That was going around like trying to get my dog and get me, but extremely slow. Like you can go like half a mile an hour past these things and not get bit. But it did want to bite us. You know, just like one of those slow, docile sharks. Those rare, fat, huge, docile sharks. So that's what I was going through in my dream. Same things that were really going on in my head subconsciously, inconsciously over the last couple of weeks. So it sort of played all together in my mind. I think that's really important to understand, that that's how dreams are articulated, formulated, etc. I'll always remember when I was I'm gonna guess 5. This is the earliest dream I can ever remember. Or maybe one of them. But 5 years old, and I just remember a dream where I was going around the house as a child, and I was being chased by a Muppet. Why a Muppet? Because I was 5 years old. That's what my brain can hallucinate for me to paint a picture for me. A Muppet for some reason, like a big Muppet, and it came to me, and I remember in the dream, at the end of the dream, it finally got me, and it bit my arm. I know it's a fucking strange dream, right? It finally got me and bit my arm. And of course, I woke up and my arm hurt, like I got bit. So there's things that are triggering in my mind that made it happen. Where I was scared of this Muppet, and it had one of those Muppet mouths that didn't have teeth or anything. I don't exactly remember what it looked like, but I just remember it was one of those things. You know, I was a child, I was born in the 80s, so of course Sesame Street and those Muppet shows and all of those things were big. Barney the dinosaur, etc., right? With those Muppet mouths, all of those characters, right? So at that age, I had to formulate that could be a problem, right? In my dream, consciously or subconsciously. And my arm hurt in my dream. Now, I'm not sure what is the causation of that. If I was on my arm and I didn't understand that, you know, I was losing pressure in my arm because I was on it or something while I was sleeping. Or if in my brain had to formulate that the dream Muppet got me, so I had to actually feel it as if it was vivid or real, because it was definitely a vivid dream, and I definitely remember that dream to this day, fucking almost 3 decades later. But the point is I'm getting at is that, like, I don't know if that was, again, causation from the bite in my dream, that I'm feeling that way and it triggered something in my mind to feel that, or if I was feeling that in the real world and it had to formulate into my dream. But I'm going to go with the latter, but I'm not sure. But the point is, it's the things that you can articulate in your brain. If it's something that you can't understand, then what is it going to be? I remember I was dating this girl and I was like 21. 21, I think 21. And it was during a period where it was like the last period that I enjoyed movies. And I really, really, really enjoyed zombie flicks. You know, 28 days later, 28 weeks later, zombie flicks. There's tons of them out there. You name them, I enjoyed it, right? And I remember I had a dream of being in this zombie world. I actually wrote this down. This is my favorite dream of all time because it was so amazing that I had a dream about zombies and I was in a zombie apocalypse that got even crazier. So this is what my dream basically was. I wrote it down. I totally lost the paper to it, but I'm going to try to recall as much as possible. I'm not going to give you an in-depth details about it, but I was watching zombie movies. So of course I would have a zombie dream, right? So I remember I'm fighting off zombies, but then they would come in hordes. So there was like few of them, and then there was like the big mob. Like the few of them were stragglers, right? People that weren't in the huge mob, and they would just go over and just maul everything that's in the way. And that's when you needed to get out of it, in my dream. And I remember there was this point where, also triggered from a different movie, that there was a point where there would be like a horn. There would be like a like an alarm, a horn or something like that. And when you heard that, that was the warning sign for some reason in my dream that the huge mob was coming, and anything in that path would be dead. Like you have no chance. There's no way. And that you know to get out of it during that period. And that would give me like a spooky feeling in me I gotta get the fuck out of here. Okay? So I'm battling the stragglers. No problem, the stragglers, but the fucking huge hordes were fucking way too intense. That's not something that you can have a mini gun, with thousands of rounds of fucking, 50 cals or whatever you think that's gonna fucking get these zombies. It's impossible. And during those hordes, other creatures would come similar to like dinosaurs. And they would be like, huge dinosaurs. So like demons, dinosaurs, zombies in that horde. But outside of the horde, it was just a few zombies. And I could take care of them pretty easily with a handgun or whatever. And they were slower. But during the horde, it was just like intense. It was like, it was almost like, I think that's when either Black Ops 1 came out, or one of those video games that also had zombies. I'm pretty confident maybe it was like Black Ops or maybe it was before then. But there was a video game, maybe a Resident Evil or something, I don't know, where there's periods where the zombies get faster. And for some reason that played in my mind as well, in the dream. The point is, I don't have to go into detail about that dream, but the point is, every little detail in each of the dreams that I've ever had in my whole entire life have been formulated due to what's going on in my mind in the current era. So it'd be consciously or subconsciously in the era that I've been in. And it's not a pull, it's not a destiny, it's not showing you the future, it's not showing you in-depth things about you. Well, kind of. It's just for you to recognize that you're recognizing things, right? So, I hope that people don't really tune this into, like your dreams, tune it as something that it's not. All it is a hallucination to interpret something in your mind. That's what I don't know what it's for, but you have this happening to you all the time during the day. You're hallucinating every chance that you're alive. Every moment that you're alive, you're hallucinating. Watch my video, We Are All Hallucinating. I think that's a rather in-depth. When I talk about that video, I'm going to tell you in-depth what a hallucination is. Because a lot of people think they need to take drugs to hallucinate, or you might have little things of hallucinations, or hallucinations aren't real. But however, all of existence only exists in your head. So your interpretation of existence is what the picture that's going to be painted in your head is going to look like, feel like, and you can experience. Right? Same way that two gas station attendants, I've said this a trillion times on my channel, this situation. Two gas station attendants. They both have the exact same job. They both came in at the same time. They're both taking care of customers. One of them's happy, one of them's not. There's something in the mind. It's not the situation. It's something in the mind that says, fuck, I gotta go to work again. Or, I can't wait to go to work, so maybe this one customer is gonna come in. I love having conversations with that customer. Or whatever. Right? One might be like, money. Other would be like, fuck, I gotta work to make money for my bills. Whatever, right? There's something different that's being played in your head, and it's subjective to your hallucinations and your interpretations of objective reality, and of course your subjective. So it's important things like this to understand. It's how you're feeling, it's the chemicals in your brain, it's your experiences, it's how you're hallucinating. All of these things come into play even in your dreams. See, you're alive, let alone conscious, whether that you believe it or not. Your dreams are conscious. That's why you are still aware if somebody throws on the light when you're sleeping in a dark room and you wake up because the light came on. You're still conscious. So I hate when people say that you're unconscious. You're less conscious. Of course, you're less conscious because you're going into like a regen mode. You have to regenerate. You have to refresh, right? But ultimately, before this gets any longer, I think that's pretty much what I was trying to say in this video, is that, of course, you are yourself hallucinating these dreams based on conscious and subconscious information. Not some gateway of the ether showing you your path. This is already in your brain. This has already been processes in your brain, and you formulate it just like me and the Muppets at 5 years old. That's something that was in my brain. When I was 21, it was zombies. That was something that was in my brain. This isn't something that's outside of your realm. This is something that you are already in this realm. This is already your hallucinations based on your life that's currently happening, or your current understanding of the world. Same thing when have you ever seen a dog dream? Like, see them, you know that they're having a dream, they're always running, right? You know that they're running because that's something that they understand. That's something that they experience. They remember running after the deer or rabbit or whatever, right? So come on. I'm thinking about a puppy because I've been thinking about a puppy the last 3-4 weeks. You know, I even looked up pictures on Google and YouTube just to be like, oh man, get me back into. I love fucking dogs. I'm a dog person, and I haven't had a dog since my dog died when I was like 20. Right? I had him for like 7-8 years, and you know, boxers don't live that long. They only live like 7-8 years, so it was what it was. But I haven't had a dog in 12 years, so I've been thinking about one, and I think that this is the point of my life, at least in a few months, to get one. So I've been thinking about all these dreams and ideas, and that documentary last night about the slow animals, the slow fucking sharks, extremely slow. Very slow to open their mouth, very slow to attack, and that was interpreted in a mutant-looking fucking alligator that was huge, 15 feet long type shit, and you know, scared of my puppy, and these things are going on in my mind. So of course that's going to be interpreted and experienced in my dream. Okay, that should give you guys a great understanding of what dreams actually are. It's nothing fucking woo about your dreams. It's something that is what is going on in your mind. And some of you guys can relate, some of you guys can understand, some of you guys are going to leave a comment below and say that I'm a moron. And I'm ready for that as well. So stay tuned for more content, plenty more coming. See you guys.